thank you so much for your time today and for passing what was a historic resolution or introducing it into the House. Can you tell us a little bit more about it and its significance and what drove you towards this?
I think this is a very important first step in making our voice heard here in the United States about the situation in Sri Lanka, persecution of the Tamil community, and the need for self-determination. That's really the main solution here. I think this can be done in a peaceful way, but other leading countries around the world have weighed in. The U.S. needs to as well, and this is an important first step. We're seeing a lot of very good initial support from members of Congress, and I'm very optimistic about where we're going to be. And just, by the way, I had a wonderful meeting with a bipartisan group of Canadian members of Parliament, talked about this. They were very excited to hear that we're going to be joining their leadership as well.
Fantastic. I mean, this is obviously an issue that resonates across the aisles in both parties as well. In terms of next steps, what do you think needs to happen in order for this resolution to kind of pass?
It's just the only way you get change in Washington is when people make their voices heard. So we had a huge group of activists coming to visit Congress to lobby their members. That's really the most important place where we need to educate members of Congress on this issue in a bipartisan way. And if we do that, we're going to be successful and send a real message that will be heard loud and clear around the globe.
Yeah, and one of the key tenets of this resolution speaks about the importance of recognizing the genocide that took place. Can you tell us a little bit more about why that aspect kind of resonates with you?
I think, in order to do anything, we need to acknowledge what happened in the past, and until we do that, it's going to be very difficult to move forward. So, the data, the evidence is clear. President Obama, in his autobiography, even weighed in on the lack of support for the UN, an obvious genocide that was happening in Sri Lanka. So I think that's an important first part of this whole process. And until that's addressed, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get to the bigger issues.
Fantastic. And then the other tenet of this was speaking about the need for self-determination and a referendum. And you spoke about previous examples where the United States has helped in other places around the world. Do you think that this is something that can happen in Sri Lanka or should happen in Sri Lanka?
I believe it should happen in Sri Lanka, and we need to lead with our values here in the United States. And the right to self-determination is especially important, and you just have to look back at our history to know why it's so important here in the United States.
Fantastic. And lastly, we know that the State Department has sanctioned already a few Sri Lankan individuals accused of war crimes. When it comes to accountability for the genocide, do you think those kind of sanctions should be widened, or are there any other steps that you'd want to think about or want the State Department to take, the federal government to take?
I think sanctions are especially important, acknowledging obvious war crimes, and we have plenty of information and data. One of the things that we're especially focused on with the State Department is the role of the Chinese Communist Party in the region, and what we do know is that the Tamil population is very pro-West, pro-America. That's something especially important. We need friends in the region.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much.